fun is energy, but beloved is trust. And so it really is about that consistency. Our marketing can be really fun and it might get someone to come one time, but if the experience isn't really great, they're not going to come back. It's not going to be worth it, right? So it is about consistently showing up. 95% of my ability to be successful now is just having the right team, retaining talent, partnering with the right people, being a good partner.
In today's world, how does a brand break through the noise and become iconic? Join me, Jason Harris, as I speak with the world's leading marketing experts about how they use soul and science to build an iconic brand. Think of it as EQ meeting IQ. So let's lock in and together fast forward our marketing minds on the Soul and Science podcast. Welcome to another Soul and Science podcast. Today I'm joined by Sara Kear, the CMO at Condado Tacos and Tequila, a brand that's turned tacos, tequila, and good vibes into a community-like customer experience. They're all about community, so we're going to dive into that today. With a background in digital strategy and brand storytelling, Sara has mastered the art of transforming customers into superfans. We will dive into how she's building community through creativity, experience, and a whole lot of flavor. Welcome to the Soul and Science of Tacos, Sara.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
We love your hoodie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It's made with the new branding.
That's right. You know, I've got a rep.
You got to rep that. When did that new branding launch?
It launched at the end of August, but it's going to be a process of rolling it out everywhere. So that it digitally is live.
Digital is easy. All the stores.
Digitally is live.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That takes manpower. Yeah.
It
And
does.
woman power. Okay.
Yes.
So give us, before we get into Condado, tell us a little bit about how you got into marketing.
Sure. So I was a bit of a failure story. I started out pre-med, had always planned on being a doctor. And the first year in school in pre-med, I really did not like how much I was having to study. And I just, was thinking through the road ahead and the amount of time that would need to be dedicated to school before I would really get to practice anything. It was that, and coupled with the fact I was on an academic scholarship that I was concerned about losing. And then I really had no idea what I wanted to do. So I'd always planned on being a doctor, but I love art. So I love to create, and it was kind of that combination of the art and science. So I actually transitioned and became an art major, a studio art major, and finished out my my college career that way.
Oh, that's awesome. What a switch.
I know.
Doesn't getting your MD takes 11 years or something?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
that's
It
insane.
usually, yes.
Yeah.
8 years of undergrad and then usually 3 to 4 of
Then you have a
graduate.
residency,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
An art degree is what, 4 years?
Oh yeah. I didn't even graduate late.
Oh, wow. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I kind of in the back of my head, what I learned while in art school was that I really loved creating. I really am a very curious person, and I do love to learn. So I got started to get interested in advertising and in marketing through that process, because it also became clear to me that I was not talented enough as an artist to make it as an actual artist.
Were you in art history or were you in like actually creating?
Yes, too. So I did take art history classes, but also studio art. So painting is actually what I love the most, what I still do a little bit on the side.
Oh, that's awesome.
But sculpture, I mean, you really get to do all of it when you have that major. So you get to experiment and learn of the different types of art expression, and it was really fun. So I really enjoyed it.
What did you think you were going to do with that afterwards?
That was where I didn't know, if just being very transparent. I just wanted to get my degree in something that I found really inspirational and fun, and figure it out. And it became clear to me, because I did have aspirations. I was like, I'm so inspired by the process of creation that I really thought, maybe being a full-time artist could work for me. But it became clear that there's so many other people who are so much more talented, just naturally talented at art and creation, that I was like, that's probably not going to be where I'm going to make any money. So after college, I started looking into, at the time, digital marketing. This was about 15, actually more than that now. It's been about 17 years ago. I was interested in digital marketing because it was pretty cutting edge. It was still relatively a new space. No one had gone to school for it. So if you think like Google search, and analytics, and it was really, because performance marketing is much more science than art. To be honest, but I didn't really know that at the time, and so that was what I landed. I landed my first job in digital marketing, doing search and it for a small startup agency, and then just went from there, and stayed. I was agency side for 14 years.
Oh, wow. When did you move out of search into a different part of marketing?
I was in search for 3 years, and then I moved to another startup agency, actually, and I was their first employee. So it was just the founders and myself, and they told me, they were like, "You can really help us build this," and that was. I had not planned on going to another startup agency because agency life is, it's really fun if you like the pace and in the workflow, and I'm sure you've worked at and with a lot of agencies, right? But it's like the pace is very fast. You get to solve a lot of different types of problems, and you get exposure to a lot of different industries, so there is the opportunity to learn a lot, and I am very open to taking on new challenges. And so, as the agency was expanding, I took on our SEO. It was like, initially more paid media, and then SEO. Analytics had always kind of been a foundation, and then conversion rate optimization, web. So it kind of just grew from there. And I was with that agency for 10 years, and it got to around 100 people, and then was acquired.
And then from the agency world, you went straight to CMO.
I did.
And what was that change like?
It was kind of a wild ride looking back in hindsight. So Condado Tacos is a brand. I'd always been very interested in going brand side, because agency, you get to influence, but you don't really get to own. And there is kind of a level, like a surface level, that you're limited to, because you're always handing things off, and partnering and working with someone else to fully execute. And so the idea of going brand side had always, and really being able to impact, grow a brand, had always been very interesting to me. And Condado was a brand that I personally was a big fan of. I would always do date nights there with my husband. I just loved the feel of being at a Condado and their food. And so when they had just partnered with private equity, and they were building out their executive team, and there was the opportunity, I kind of took a leap of faith. And I remember distinctly saying to my mom and sisters, when we were sitting at the kitchen table, like, I may fail. Like, this may not turn out well. Because it was, I think, to someone who isn't in marketing, and I love to think that I'm just that impressive that I got hired for this role without really, I had worked with some restaurants and some very cool brands, but with having not ever been brand side, it was a kind of a leap of faith for them to believe that I could do that role, right? And I don't know that they really understood how much I would have to learn, and how much new there would be coming into the restaurant industry. My first CMO role, a fast growing brand, Condado, like I said, had just partnered with private equity, and we started opening. That was really kind of the first thing that I had to focus on. Was when I joined, we were opening around 10 restaurants a year, and all privately owned. So, I just dove in, trying to understand what had been done, what we were doing with marketing, where there's opportunity, and then really trying to figure out how we open restaurants in existing markets and new markets. So but I survived and survived. So,
Well, it sounds like you've been there for many years now. What do you think you're particularly good at?
I think that I would have to say that has changed over time. Initially, I think that I was really good at being resourceful. I don't shy away from hard work. I don't shy away from learning new things, and that curiosity has served me really well. Uh, I think now probably my core strength lies in my ability to build a strong team around me and to not shy away from really talented people who are intelligent, ambitious, better at things than I am. And so that, I think is probably 95% of my ability to be successful now is just having the right team, retaining talent, partnering with the right people, being a good partner. um, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Condado going from a regional taco spot that has grown the footprint, grown the doors, and has really moved out of being regional player. What do you think has spurred that growth? What do you think the secret sauce behind that growth is?
Our ability to offer guests a really fantastic, craveable menu, like our food is so good, and it's kind of word of mouth worthy, but then it's like it's layered, right? We have these really incredible dining rooms that in our team, a pretty fantastic team. We like to say that the pillars of the brand, our food is all about the flavor rebellion. There's just these unconventional combinations of flavors that, it's strawberry and balsamic on top of guac, or dragon fruit and habanero marg, like just these things you wouldn't expect together but are particularly delicious. And then coupled with getting a service that strives to go above and beyond, and a very unique culture and energy that's kind of surrounded with creativity, and then a real focus on development of people and opportunity. There's layers to Condado that I think when people are like, man, it's not just a restaurant, it becomes more to people. And that ability to be more than just tacos and another taco restaurant, I think that has ultimately fueled the growth and the success of Condado.
And there's a lot of idea of, you belong here.
Yeah.
There's a sense of belonging. There's this idea of community as a gathering place. There's a
Yeah.
idea of coming together. I'm sure that's very attractive to the audience. How do you bring that to life and not just say, we create a sense of belonging, but how do you live that sense of belonging in the restaurants?
It's really about a million small moments and a million decisions that we are making every day as a collective, and how to show up for each other and for our communities. And we try to do that through a really accountable culture. Instead of like being, me minded, being we minded of how do we succeed together and like arm in arm, and giving our teams the ability um, to think creatively for how we go above and beyond. That has been one thing that I feel like has really kind of had a grassroots movement around it, which is, we are all about inclusivity, both having an inclusive menu. So if you think like gluten-free options, vegan, vegetarian, but so everyone is welcome to come to the table. Just, you can bring anyone to a Condado is part of the idea, but also having that same mentality for our team members, that like just a very welcoming environment. It doesn't matter, who you are. We want you to be your authentic self and the best version of yourself. And then also giving our teams like the ability to show up for community in a uniquely creative way. And that I think has truly, it's like the higher purpose, right? It's like it is the emotional connection. And a few small examples of that. We have a a bar that is near one of our restaurants. So all of our restaurants are hand painted by local artists, which is kind of a cool, unique part of our brand. That one way that we're able to connect to the community by bringing themes of that community into the walls and into the space itself, and also partnering with artists. So kind of that gives us the ability to support the community simply through paying these individuals to work. A lot of artists get their start at Condado as muralists, but we partnered with a bar that kept having their pride flags taken down from their fence. And we took some extra paint that we had and made them a custom mural across their fence with just our artists volunteering to do that. And we're now kind of taking that of like, let's beautify our communities in this way that can really, Condado's very uniquely able to do that because we've been doing large scale murals for years now, and continue to connect with the community in that way. So and just those unique chances that we have. Another example that I think is it's kind of a sad, it's a bit of a sad story, truly, but just a way that we were able to take a very unfortunate situation and provide some joy and definitely what now feels like belonging to the family. We had a family reach out to us about their son who had some pretty unique health complications, and he was a huge fan of Condado, and he had unfortunately had passed away, and they wanted us to cater their celebration of life for him. And so we're like, obviously, of course, we're going to cater the celebration of life, but they were such regulars at one of our restaurants and in Grand Rapids that we knew more about this family, and so we reached out to them, and we were like, if you have any interest, we would love to celebrate your son using a custom mural in the corner where they would eat at that restaurant on a regular basis. So we worked with an artist to bring that boy. So he had chosen for his Make-A-Wish to swim with sharks. And so we did this very cool custom mural for him. His name was Kai, and painted him onto the wall and made t-shirts, and his family had like a reveal party. And like that was had the family not been interested, and they were like so thankful. They were like, now he's still with us here when we come to eat. And so that is like a small way that like we can really truly connect on an emotional level with a family, with a community, that is not typical for a brand to do, but it's just being very open to like, how do we creatively support and connect with community? And that is what we're all about.
You get almost so embedded in the community that becomes part of a fabric of the community.
1,000%. Yes, exactly.
How do you move from like a fun brand with like cool murals and great margaritas to make that jump into a beloved brand?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's like fun equates to like fun is energy, but beloved is trust. And so it really is about that consistency of when I go to like if our marketing can be really fun and it might get someone to come back to come one time, but if the experience isn't really great, if the food isn't fantastic, if the hospitality isn't there, they're not going to come back. If it's not going to be worth it, right? So it is about consistently showing up, and that has been a lot of listening to our guests and working with our team, because a huge portion, I mean, we do a significant portion of offline business at this point too. But that really scaled up over COVID, but we still have the majority of our guests experiencing Condado through our dining rooms. And so it really is that rallying around these ideas of maniacal hospitality and creating the perfect taco every time, to move from something that is just fun to something that is bigger and beloved and trusted and becomes a non-negotiable, right? Like we cater a shocking number of weddings because people went just like I did, went to Condado while they were dating, and we sometimes get wedding invites, and sometimes we'll show up at the wedding and be invited to the wedding. So there's just these
That's
interesting
weird.
ways. I actually have this is I just got another one. It's like a note to us about how
Oh, that's
we
awesome.
were such an important part of their relationship building up to their engagement. They want us to come.
Well, that's
So
amazing.
yeah.
So you really do become part of the fabric. So your revenue streams, you've got restaurants, you've got catering, and you've got delivery.
Online
Yeah,
ordering.
online
Yep. Third
ordering.
party
Okay,
delivery. Yep.
third party delivery. So those are like the three revenue streams.
Yep.
Our restaurant, I assume, is like
It is. Yep.
the biggest one, and then what,
Hmm.
online or delivery, and then catering.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
It's so restaurants and then our own online ordering through the website and app and third party delivery are always like neck and neck. And
I'm
then
surprised people order like you. I thought it kind of all moved to third party at this point. You know.
Well, I think we have a really good loyalty program,
Oh,
and
okay.
the people who are like the Condado loyalists, our fans, they know they get really fantastic rewards when they order through the app.
Okay, that's smart. Loyalty program, yeah.
Yes, and so we spend a lot of time trying to convert third party, and some people are never going. They're going to order through. You're right, like they are Dash Pass users, they are Uber Eats, like they are loyal.
Uber One, yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. You gotta be both places, and then we've seen really significant growth in our catering business over time because that as an industry continues to grow too.
You really do have this like fun community vibe, vibrant in restaurant energy. Does the corporate environment mirror that? Like, when you guys are working in corporate, is that similar energy that you guys lead with?
Yes, yeah.
The music, the art, the vibe. Tell me a little bit about how that translates.
Yes, there is absolutely the same playfulness, the same energy. I think, we on the marketing team, at least, there is, like, no shortage of creatives. We actually have so many very, very creative people that it's like it really is more about distilling down it, and part of the rebrand project was, like, just giving ourselves really set and strict guidelines so that we know how to play within the sandbox for ourselves so that it gives us the ability to scale and remain consistent.
Maybe part of that rebrand is creating parameters, like clear,
It was mostly
because you
that.
were
It was
kind of doing like
yes.
we're doing too many things,
We're
and
like we're
yeah,
all over the place here,
yeah,
guys.
yeah. So you need that like confinement allows you to do more.
It does.
Yeah,
Exactly. So,
yeah, that makes
yes.
sense. Do you have like a in the future? You guys are opening up restaurants. You've got PE now, which expects obviously PE always wants 3 to 5 years, high growth. Then they make their money, they sell it. Does that high growth and that speed and that investment? How do you maintain the great culture and the great vibes and the community feel? And maybe it doesn't impact it at all, or maybe it does. I don't know.
Yeah. So, just to be fully transparent, we did not do it perfectly. We did we grew too fast initially, and it took us about 2 years to realize that we didn't really have the systems, the strict enough brand guidelines, the processes in place to be consistent. And we started seeing it show up through guest reviews and average ratings slipping and same store sales starting to decline. And so that was part of the rebrand project too, was just we have to take a pause. We need to both define our brand and guidelines in a way that is consistent and scalable, but also do the same for our team members. So when I talk about like the hospitality framework and what is expected of our team, like just getting really clear and coaching around how to hold ourselves and each other accountable. So, we did see that, and we are now on the other side of that. Thankfully, our brand and our culture was strong enough to survive that. But we did is just again, like, to be completely transparent, we didn't do it perfectly, and we definitely saw the impacts of the strain on a it was kind of like our business outgrew our brand. Our brand wasn't really ready for that yet, and so we are now, thankfully, on the other side of that.
All right. So we're on the Soul and Science podcast.
Yes.
You talked about your, you know, instead of you ditched 11 years of going to the MD path, went into art, which is like very soulful, then went into marketing and did a lot of kind of the science part of marketing
Yep.
with SEO and analytics
Yep.
and, some media, but performance based. And now you're a CMO and you have to toggle sort of the left and right brain and really do the, you know, analytics and the tracking of, store sales, what items are moving, you
Yep.
know, the three revenue streams, and also keep the soul of the brand, like the heart and
Yes.
soul and the fun part of the brand. How do you kind of balance that soul and science and, data and performance with we got to have the right experience and community part of Condado so you don't lose the heart of it?
Yeah. So we have committed, Condado is committed to being a brand led organization, and there are, as you know, a lot of upsides to, if you think about some of the most iconic brands in the world, that they have a strong understanding of self and of their role in society and of their guests or customers, and of why they are loved and how they can show up, and they use that as true north, and then they go from there. And that is really what Condado does, is that we have now this, like, we did a lot of listening. So that was a big part of the brand project, was just listening to our guests, what they were going through, exhaustively going through Reddit, not just the people who are our best buds, which we call our loyalty members, and we spoke with them, right? And but we also spoke with people who don't like who had left the brand, who had churned, or and we looked at people who were complaining about our brand on Reddit, and like just really understanding, like, when we miss the mark, how are we missing the mark, and then like what is happening in the industry, and what is relevant for us, and what are the non-negotiables for Condado, and those kind of strategic pillars that I had mentioned, and letting those lead, and then, like, but using everything obviously has to be tied back to data, and we now have our systems and tools in a much better place where we can do, actual kind of closed loop ROI assessments when we're running campaigns, we're spending media, and we know what it costs for us to acquire a guest. So definitely all backed by data, but leading with that soul in the heart.
And then you have to think about food industry trends.
Yes. Oh, we
Maybe,
do. Yes.
how do you balance consistency with, new items? Like I always wonder in that sort of restaurant space, would you call, I don't know, is it fast casual? Is that what you would call it?
So we are casual because we have
Just
servers
casual,
that actually go to your
right?
table.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Versus like the ordering at the counter. Yep.
Okay. So casual, just
Yeah.
casual. How do you think about the
The
innovation?
menu and the
Yeah.
innovation.
And the
Oh,
menu
yeah.
and the innovation. Yeah.
Oh, Jason, how much time do we have? Just kidding.
I love it.
That is a partnership. So our founder is now our chief innovation officer, and he is still very, very much involved and connected with the brand. But it is a partnership between innovation and marketing on menu development. Both what products need engineered. Maybe it's a recipe, like it's a recipe issue. So for example, we had a shrimp taco that was selling really well, but we could see in our customer data platform the reorder rate was actually very low, and we realized we had a consistency issue with how the shrimp was being cooked and served. Sometimes it was very spicy, which is unexpected, right? So there's what menu items might we have an issue with using our menu engineering and customer data platform, and then also what kind of trends are coming, or what are our guests asking for. So a couple examples of bigger menu launches that we've had recently. We just launched a line of high protein bowls.
I saw
uh,
that. Those are like insanely high protein bowls.
they are,
Yeah.
and they're
Those are
so
like
can
protein on top of protein. Which that's great because I mean, usually it's not that protein
you
packed.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And Condado has our protein game is really strong. We have 8 varieties of protein, and they're really clean. And it's a strength for us of just the variety of protein options that we have, how flavorful they are, and they're clean. And so we saw this trend of growing interest in protein over the past. I mean, it's been around for a while, but there's no shortage of it. And with GLP-1s, it's actually predicted to pick up even more.
I just did a post on this. When you see like Starbucks adding protein powders,
I know.
you know
I
it's reached
just got to
like
start. Yes, I do. They have like a protein foam. I was
yeah,
like,
it's
okay,
like
Starbucks, calm down.
yeah, exactly. It's reached like peak protein when you're like, do I need a protein foam now?
Do I need
Or do I
protein
just need
foam on my
energy
green
from my
tea?
yeah,
I know,
exactly.
yes, but so that was the whole thing, is that like there is a much higher sensitivity around value, the value equation, because of compounding inflation over time. And high protein, it was a value play for us, because people who are trying to eat higher protein, they are happy to spend a little bit more if they know that they're getting 50 or 60 grams of protein in that meal. And it's also in a bowl, which means they can make a second meal out of it. And so we've just launched that, and we've already sold almost $3 million in like
Wow.
in like a month. So
I saw that launch. I'm like, dude, that's gonna crush. So that's a good example of like staying on a trend but maintaining consistency of the brand.
and making it ours, right? If you don't have to compromise, you don't have to eat a crappy protein bar. You can have this really amazing, flavorful Korean barbecue bowl or loaded taco salad bowl with chicken, verde chicken, and get your protein in.
I'm sure I should know this, but I don't. I think of who your competitors are
Yeah.
as, you know, obviously like you as you said, you're casual, so you're not competing against Chipotle or Taco Bell. What else in the space like Applebee's, Chili's, like what else is comparable that is also has tacos and tequilas?
So this is interesting. We actually compete with a different with the different sets or cohorts of restaurants, online versus dine in. And so we do compete with Chipotle for online ordering.
Okay.
We don't compete with Chipotle for the date night, right?
Right.
And so we have a different kind of set of competitors
Oh, that's interesting.
for
Yeah. Yeah.
online versus for catering too, actually. But for dine
Yeah,
in,
Chipotle's doing a big push on catering
oh, they are. I
right
know.
now. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ours is better.
Obviously yours is better. And you have like 50 grams of protein.
Yeah.
Like you guys are killing it, right?
But for the like occasion where people are going out, that we are competing with, it depends, because it's really geographically based. We compete with local restaurants, so like you think like places that are, not national chains. We compete with national chains. Chili's has had a major resurgence. Actually, a lot of these like kind of what were thought of as old or tired casual dining brands are like crushing it right now. Chili's is one of them. Red Lobster is seeing improvement. Applebee's, like BJ's, like these, like, and what's interesting is
That's like that's about value, right?
it's about value.
About value. Yeah.
So yes, all of these like older of the types of restaurants that exist, casual dining is the only one that is actually positive in both comp traffic and sales, because people are trading down from fine dining into casual and up from quick serve and from
Oh,
fast
that's
casual.
fascinating. Oh, wow. So they're going up from QSRs, down from
And even from fast
yeah,
casual,
right,
like the
right, right.
counter ordering, like, so that was it now has become more of an advantage to Condado that we are full service and that we have servers who come to your table, because everyone is looking for the value, but also the price.
Are you experimenting with any new marketing technologies or platforms that you're excited about?
Oh, so, I just was talking with our performance media agency about if they getting their thoughts. I know that I just heard this week that OpenAI is launching their own version of a search engine, which will have advertising. And so that is something, as AI and using large language models, as that continues to grow, and what I think will become a more significant portion of how people learn and discover and utilize in their everyday lives, of like, how are we showing up are we staying on top of this? How are we, how are we leveraging this? Like, that's we don't have it all figured out, but it definitely is on our watch list. And then, another one that has been more of a successful channel for us. It was interesting just closing the loop on our conversation today, but YouTube, it continues to do really well for us with video advertising. And, part of that, what we've discovered is that we're getting these like big screen, these big screen impressions and views of our videos, which are like commercials, but it's like, a $5 CPM or an $8 CPM versus when we were doing connected TV, it was like $35. So it's like a much cheaper and just as targeted. Like, because we can import all of our same audiences. We're running this through Google Ads. It's just so much cheaper, so much more cost effective. So that has been a newer channel that, when I say newer, we just are constantly running YouTube ads at this point, which we didn't used to do that. So.
And do you have a mantra or a quote that guides you or that you think about?
I do. I
All right,
do.
good.
So, I read this in a book on my honeymoon, and it just really stuck with me. And the book was called This I Believe, and it was based on like an NPR series, I believe. But it said, "The journey is all," was the quote, and it was written on like a Tibetan monk's grave. It was like the only thing written on there, and it really stuck with me because I tend to be very achievement oriented or action oriented, or like always making the list of what I need to do next or what I want to do, and you can kind of get in the mindset of like, I'll be happy when, or I'll be satisfied when, and it really has been kind of a shift of like, actually this conversation with you, being present for my kids in the morning, and like just how I'm showing up for people every day, that's what actually matters, right? It's not the next big thing, it's right now. And so I love that. So I'm not going to stop being achievement oriented, but it is very helpful as like my own personal mantra to just remind myself that actually it's the journey that is the thing.
So I love that. That's great. All right. Well, thanks for being on the podcast, Sara Kear. This was awesome, and really appreciate you sharing all your insights and being really transparent. We learned a lot today. So thanks for being on the podcast.
This was so much fun. Thank you, Jason.
Of course. Soul and Science is a Mechanism podcast produced by Maggie Bowles, Ryan Tillotson, and Lily Jablonski. The show is edited by Daniel Ferreira with theme music by Kyle Merritt. And I'm your host, Jason Harris.